An investigation has been launched after an actress has told LAPD that she was raped by Harvey Weinstein. An Italian model actress met with Los Angeles police detectives for more than 2 hours Thursday morning, providing a detailed account of new allegations that movie mogul Harvey Weinstein sexually assaulted her at a hotel in 2013. She is the 6th woman to accuse Weinstein of rape or forcible sex acts. Los Angeles Police Captain Billy Hayes confirmed that the department has launched an investigation into the matter. Now, the reason why this is particularly interesting is because it falls within the 10-year statute of limitations in the state of California. So it could open up some new doors if there is evidence that there could be a prosecution and perhaps even an indictment. Now, the 38-year-old woman does not want to be named because she is fearful of retaliation and concerned for her children, but she does have a detailed account that was printed in the LA Times today. And in part, here's some of it. He bullied his way into my hotel room saying, "I'm not going to have sex with you, I just want to talk," the woman told the Times. Once inside, he asked me questions about myself, but soon became very aggressive and demanding and kept asking to see me naked. Eventually, she goes on to say about how he dragged her into a bathroom and forcibly raped her. It's really graphic to read, but it is important that we read all of these allegations that are coming forward. Then what's particularly troubling is that she alleges that when he left, he told her that she was very beautiful and that she was going to work in Hollywood. So we're seeing that power dynamic play out in these allegations. What's also interesting is that the allegation could bolster a New York police investigation into a report that Weinstein forced an aspiring actress in 2004 to perform oral sex on him, as the LA case involves similar acts. Lucia Evans told the New Yorker that Weinstein assaulted her during a meeting at his Miramax office. Now, these are more than the 40 women who have come forward, actresses, studio workers, and models, and one of them to add her voice to what she calls a conspiracy of silence is Academy Award-winning actress Lupita Nyong'o, who released a 4-page, really interesting, compelling, and disturbing accusation of her experience with Harvey Weinstein. I would encourage you to check it out. It's from the New York Times, but in part what she says is after some other encounters, this is what she calls out. Before the starters arrived, so they were at dinner, he announced, "Let's cut to the chase. I have a private room upstairs where we can have the rest of our meal." I was stunned. I told him I preferred to eat in the restaurant. He told me not to be so naive. If I wanted to be an actress, then I had to be willing to do this sort of thing. He said he had dated famous actress X and Y. Look where it had gotten them. When she did turn down his request, or not even request is not the right word for that, he basically said, "I don't know about your career, but you'll be fine." She was confirming, "Hey, are we good? Is this totally ruining my career as an actress?" And then she goes on to say about after she had won the Academy Award, how he totally changed his tune and gave some sort of a backwards apology for his accusations. Now, what she keeps calling out in this New York Times piece is she wants to combat the conspiracy of silence in Hollywood. So do you think all these women coming forward, this is what we need to combat this conspiracy of silence?
I think you need women, but you also need men. You need everyone. I think it's so courageous for all these women to come out and talk about this. And Lupita, she was very detailed, very candid in this essay that she wrote. So that is, not everybody is there yet. Not everybody is at that place where they can be open about this experience because it is so painful, it is so traumatic. But I think for anybody who is at that place and mentally ready to talk about it, it just helps create an environment that's more transparent. We need more transparency going forward. Hollywood is incredibly unprofessional, and I think that's part of the problem here. I mean, it's a huge systemic issue, but we definitely need to be talking about this stuff and reporting it.
What's your response, Mark?
Yeah, and as you say, if it creates an environment where those who are almost ready to talk about it finally come forward, then it is effective. I mean, having this out there is definitely better than what it was a year ago, which was not having any of this stuff out there. And these stories, so hard to read, the constellation of things that happen, the same, right? I mean, this story is so believable because he's done essentially the same dance with all these different people. And so there's just no way that everybody's got the same beats in their dance unless these things all happened. It's disgusting, and yet you need to have these disgusting details and this out there for people to feel more comfortable, I think, coming forward. So yes, it makes a difference.
Do you think that these stories, and the one most recently that we were talking about of the unnamed model actress, could lead to charges being brought against Harvey Weinstein? Because up until now, we're seeing a lot of women come forward, but they don't meet the statute of limitations. Do you think that could change?
Look, we know how difficult it is to prosecute these rape cases. We saw that with Brock Turner, the Stanford student who was accused of rape and wound up walking free. We know that it's difficult to present these cases, so there are going to be some barriers. But I think that this is a step in the right direction, absolutely.
And you know, with the LAPD investigating and with all of this public pressure, frankly, you shouldn't need the public pressure. It should either, meet the standard of evidence required to bring a case or not. But the public pressure doesn't hurt in this case. I think they will perhaps be able to cobble together a case, but it does end up being he says, she says a little bit. There are enough she says along the way, again, to, I think, make a compelling case. The Brock Turner is a great reminder because there was a witness in that case and the guy still skated. That was skated because they claimed it was consensual or some crap. It was, I'm sorry, it just, obviously, for me, it didn't pass the smell test. But in any case, I do think you'll be left with a tough case, but you could probably bring a case.
And Brock Turner is no Harvey Weinstein. That's another element too. Harvey Weinstein still is this very powerful figure, so I think that presents some challenges as well.
Although Harvey Weinstein, pardon for interrupting, has money, but I think his brand, I hate to use that word, but the Harvey Weinstein name has been horribly damaged to the point that there's almost a presumption of guilt.
And also, like you said, all these stories, the details are they're strikingly similar.
Yeah, you go beat by beat. You hear about the massages and just isolating a woman where maybe she wasn't aware that they were going to have an isolated encounter before. Lupita Nyong'o says that she'd kind of assumed on a number of occasions that it was going to be a group dinner, and that did not end up being the case. And when it comes to witnesses, I think that's sort of an interesting dynamic that we're hearing about with regards to Harvey Weinstein, is you have people that were complicit. I mean, you hear about these people who knew more and did not enough, and we're going to get into that in a later story. And it's sort of they're not necessarily witnesses if they're not in the room, but people who are nervous enough and who are telling stories. Lupita was saying that when she was sitting down at dinner when she was just a student at Yale, that people were giving her sort of advice like, all right, you need Harvey Weinstein, but just be aware that he can be, a bully was the word that they were using, but you sort of know. You know what they're referring to.
This is a real problem with these sexual abuse cases, and it extends to, as we know, much greater universes than Harvey Weinstein. This idea that there's an awareness, but no one says anything. It's happened in the Catholic Church. I mean, once the top is blown off that, you see that there must have been all this awareness. To the point that you're going, was everybody aware? And yet there's awful sexual abuse there. So I think it's a great and provocative question. Even though you're not a witness to it, if you have awareness of it, what is your obligation at that point?
Like the female assistant who left the room, according to Lupita's account, as soon as she sat down to dinner with Harvey Weinstein. His female assistant was nowhere to be found. Sort of this honeypot that probably lured other women into these similar situations. How do you live with that? I mean, I can't say for sure that woman knew, but we know that other people in his company knew about this. How do you live with that kind of guilt?
Yeah, and I think that what we need to see is that this level of transparency that is so recent will lead to accountability.
TYT membership gets you commercial-free Young Turks. Download it, stream it, podcast it, get all the network shows, and support independent media. TYTnetwork.com/join.